Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Computer Wednesday, we're gonna talk about Nothing Phone 2. So let's dive deep into it. So what is this Nothing brand? Well, this is a new player that was founded in 29 October 2020. So surprisingly young, and they started their foray into consumer electronics with Nothing Year One, this puppy, and they made a name for this. Whether you like it or not, whether you love the quality or not, it does not matter. In terms of marketing, they are god tier, meaning flat out from no name. It's like nothing. It's flat out. Nobody knows about them. They just started and they're like, okay, everybody in the whole country or whole planet is gonna buy it. The marketing wise, it's like god tier. Whether you like it or not, marketing, they were like awesome success. This is what is being taught to others. That's how awesome success it was. And that was the first product they made. Now, how the heck they made such a name? There were two things for it. First, of course, the marketing was awesome. Second was like they had a purpose. You must have seen many companies that are making things like, here is a thing that I'm making. You're like, awesome. What's the USP of it? Or like, why are you making it? Rather than just competing, oh, there are this many companies, so I'm making also one. It's like, no, what are you offering to customer? This company always had a clear motto. We have design to offer you. Like, it's a unique design. Like back in the days when Apple actually wanted to do something amazing, like for example in their iPod lineup, they spent lot of time to design every single aspect, every single curve, every single button, every single chamfer. They worked their ass off to refine. This showed that, like, oh, just because it's a portable use and throw device does not mean it has to be garbage. It means it can still be engineered, designed to look good, and people gravitate towards that. They were like, yeah, I just don't like the one design that is like, okay, Apple made their design. Okay, what about everybody else? Everybody else is just Apple design. Okay, Apple is longer, we are gonna make it shorter. It's like, dude, what's the point? So they had a very dominating kind of presentation market, and it worked. Then they released first phone. This is Nothing Phone 1 in 12 July 2022. So 1 year ago, so to say. And this also had a very similar sort of philosophy. It was big, it was bold statement about design rather than specs. So it was very clear. It's like either you like it or you ignore it. There was no subtlety. Whenever a company becomes too big, it becomes too scared. So all their designs become what we call non-offending. What does that mean? That simply means as bland as possible. So most people cannot be like, eh, nobody should be able to like disdain it. But a design requires you to have 50% of people liking it, 50% people to hate it. So this company is going in that direction where it's like, no, we have a design, you like it or you don't like it, we are not gonna apologize for it. So it was very whoa kind of thing. So a very successful company, and be mindful, we are talking about a company that has made one product, successfully sold it, made a second product, successfully sold it, made a mobile phone, successfully sold it, and now making a second mobile phone, which is Nothing Phone 2. So price went up. They started it, they were very very gentle in terms of price curve. Why was that? Well, they did not have too much money. Even though the founder is from OnePlus, it does not mean like he has the same bank balance as OnePlus. So for that reason, they had to be very mindful of how they are expending it. And I think they did a good job, because again, we are talking about part 2 here. So now they are in what we classify as top mid-range, meaning you take mid-range divided in 3 sections, so it's top mid-range. So in Indian rupees, the price went up from 36,000 rupees to 50,000. And I'm talking about exact same specification of 256 gigabyte and 12 GB of RAM. So yeah, price went up significantly, 20 to 30%. And what is the biggest reason for this price hike? Of course, profit and all that is one there. Another aspect is the SoC got the biggest oomph. Now, SoC of the last variant, as in like Snapdragon 778G, is not a bad SoC. For most things, it's more than good enough. It can even do competently photography. It won't be very fast, but it will be competent enough. Where it will lack, where it will be like, I'm feeling lightweight, is the gaming side. However, with the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, now they have like genuinely basically flagship processor of last year. It's not current latest and greatest, but is more than good enough where it's like, dude, if you can cool that processor effectively, you sort it, you're good, you don't have to worry about it. It's like you won't be like, oh, PUBG does not work on it, or like BMI won't work on it. No, all of them will work flawlessly. So that's where you have the biggest oomph. Then their screen also upgraded in terms of technology. So they have AMOLED, but behind AMOLED there's the electrical circuit that drives it. It also requires some chemistry love to work it. So that had been upgraded to LTPO. Now this technology allows them to change refresh rate variably. Basically, it's almost like how you have a G-Sync, only for different end, meaning it allows them to go down. Like, why would you want refresh rate to go down? Here's the 120 hertz sounds awesome, but here's the that 120 hertz is working even if you are watching a video that is 30 hertz, even if you are watching a video that is like, let's say 24 hertz. Or in all those scenarios, it's running at that, unless you go into a software and disable it to like, let's say 90 hertz. But consequence of having 120 hertz is battery consumption. So you may tone it down, but you're not enjoying it. So people do not like it. So what's the solution? Solution is variable refresh rate and allows you to go very low. 1 hertz. Now, is there a point of going to 1 hertz? Absolutely. If you are looking at a photo, picture, you're not going like, you're not, like, you're just looking at it just for a few seconds. Dropping it to 1 hertz saves battery. On top of that, when you go into what we call always on display, when you turn your screen off, it's like it just shows some widgets. This saves a lot of battery. You're watching video, a lot of video, this saves a lot of battery life. So it's actually useful upgrade that allows your battery to last a bit longer and your user experience to be a bit more smoother. So that is the upgrade. And be mindful, display brightness also has been upgraded. However, as of now, when I'm making this video, so far they have not made love to Netflix apps. Consequences, the HDR option will not turn on. They should really work on that. But as of now, I hope by the time you're watching this video or a few weeks from now, they have sorted it out. So that's the screen part. Screen is genuinely good and is genuinely bright. Awesome. Then it has Android 13 as the core, and on top of that they have Nothing OS 2.0. And camera also got a boost. So core improvement where you like shut up, take money is SoC upgrade, good. Display upgrade, good. Sound upgrade, good. Camera is just like, okay, bit better than the last one, but not whoa too much. Now the primary reason why camera is better is simply because the SoC can do more heavy crunching to it. So this is Nothing Phone 2. Now main question becomes, why would anybody buy it? Well, it has some USP, unique selling proposition, so to say. So it's something new. Whether you like it or not, that's a different thing, but you cannot deny it that it's flat out bold, where it's like, okay, I am something different. Whether you like it or don't like it, I don't care. I'm some new brand. Whether you like it or I don't care. It's like, it's a very proud kind of equipment, where it's like, I'm here. I'm here. Like, you have to look into it. It's kind of, whoa, what is that? It's one of those things that happens in watch industry. I'm talking mechanical watches that are luxury pieces. You'll be shocked how many companies make weird watch just so people buy it because it's so weird. It's one of those things that there is a market niche for that, where you're like, it's bold. It's like, I like bold things. People will love that. Now, graphically, the LED lighting that they have on the back, that also got a deeper integration, because the Mark 1 product, again, it was Mark 1 product. And the idea of this company is that phone should be, you should let phone go, basically, so to say. It should not be able to like integrate into your life so much where you, even if you are having fun time with friends, all you are doing is this. Or I'm pretty sure somebody must have done that. They are having sex and they are all doing this. So the idea of this phone is like, from the ecosystem, is you should be able to put it down. So the glyph is designed to help in that. Now, like how? Well, to give you enough satisfaction in your brain where it's like, no, I'm aware of it, what's happening, to shut down that part of your brain that's like, am I missing out? FOMO, am I missing out? Am I missing out? So glyph was designed for that reason. Now Mark 1 was very lightweight integration. This time they have better integration from in terms of basically how much time is left, ETA left, clocks, ringtones, other things also. So they are really improving the integration, where it's like, no, something can actually be done with this. Battery indication and all that, that's good, but like, even for many people that's also a very big deal, where it's like they just check their phone. Just habit has become so out of hand, so to say. So glyph integration for many people are like, shut up, take money. Then OS is nothing. Now, this may not sound like is that a big deal? Well, absolutely. Because before HTC, no other company actually sat down, made their operating system with proper intent. Like, design was never intent based. And that's why Google worked so hard to force every other company to follow their design languages. Like, dude, all of you are going YOLO. There is no Android language. So follow the material you design. Of course, modify it to your level, but do not go too much over. This is like somebody sat down, is like, what do we want to do? So the idea is everything to be as simple as possible, but less attractive as possible. Basically, that's why they are going with monochromatic icons. The idea is, if you know what you're doing, you're gonna look into, for your brain, because it's in high gear, it's like, okay, I'm gonna looking for Play Store, or I'm looking for Gmail. It will find it, it will click it, and you do it again and again. You have muscle memory, so you don't even have to look at it. But once you zoom out of it, it's like, I did my work, I'm zooming out. Your mobile should not be like, play with me, play with me. It should not do that. So for many people, it's like, I'm also suffering from this addiction. So for many people, it's like, shut up, take my money. Even if this only improves my situation by few percent, then they are also promising that 3 years of platform updates and 4 years of security update. That's good. This is one thing that I have to say. Android took a sweet time to get here, but finally they are reaching here. And I can easily see in the future, from let's say 4 or 5 years from now, that people will not talk about update cycle as like, oh, uniquely Apple thing. It will be like, yeah, every phone gets it. So I'm happy about that. And they're not trying to cost compete. This is a very critical aspect for like MI, Vivo and all that. Why don't you hear about those things? Those things are very cost cut down. They are very bad phones. What does that mean, bad phones? Simply means that cutting corners where you should not be cut. For example, because their computer is showing, they're gonna put you 4 cameras. But here's the, one of them would be black and white. Another one would be 2 megapixel. In today's time, and with garbage lens. 2 megapixel can do amazing thing, but it should have good lens. They will not put good lens, because again, if they can afford good lens, they can afford better sensor. So consequence always was like, on paper it's a very big spec sheet, but real life it will be blah. So not cost competing gives this company a bit of breathing room, whereas like, no, we are designing the best we can, and then it will be like, what you're gonna get is not like, I made it as cheap as possible and just hope it works. So that's a very, and it's flat out not even targeting cost conscious consumer. They're not even targeting that. If you're like, oh, but I'm going to put the data, I'm going to do spreadsheet, and then I'm going to figure out, it's like, not for you, flat out. That's why I said, like, people like this idea. Look into luxury watches. You will be shocked how many brands literally have the same philosophy. It's like, dude, whether you like it or you don't like it, that's up to you. We do not apologize for it. So, and they're not focusing on spec sheet. For example, they could have given much higher resolution displays. Like, is there a point to it? You're talking about something this big. Full HD, unless you're doing like this, more than good enough. Like, it's genuinely more than good enough. So they're like, hey, let's just give full HD, but improve the thing that actually makes a difference, like refresh rate. Rather than resolution, refresh rate became the focus. And that's like wise. So every aspect of this design is like somebody put some thought into it. So these are some true USP of it. However, there are certain things that made me sad, and one of the primary thing is the camera is just not as improved as people were expecting. People were expecting Mark 1, hey, camera word, that's magic, man. But here it was like, we expected more. Now, to be fair, it's not problem of basically Nothing Phone 2. It's more of like, we have been spoiled by other companies pouring billions of dollars in R&D to make the photos look good. And yes, I'm not exaggerating, actual billions of dollars have been poured into the software side of things. So if you take the same amount of cost for this puppy, dump it into Google Phone will bitch slap this flat out. It won't even be a competition. It will like, dude, don't try. So that was one of those things that people are like, and people are feeling it. It's like, it's good. It's not bad, but it's not like, dang. It's almost like how Asus have ROG phones that are actually good in terms of gaming, but the moment you turn on the camera, it's like, it's a ROG phone. So actually, it kind of gives you some explanation. It's like, it is hard to make a camera phone. Like, you can have the same sensor from same brand, Sony Semiconductors, and you can have the same sensor in, let's say, Google, and Google will be like, butter. And you look from this, it's like, you really need to cook it more, man. So, camera is like lightweight. Not bad, but another, which personally bothers me, because I was genuinely serious about buying this, is that they did not improve the water resistance. Water resistance is still not waterproof, meaning I'm not talking waterproof like go to the bottom of the ocean. I'm talking about like swimming pool, rain. India rains a lot. I want to be in a world where I do not worry about if I'm caught out on rain. I'm like worried about it. It's like right now, it's like, hey, I go out randomly, it starts raining. Yes, it does happen in India. And it's like, bam, my phone is in danger. I don't want to feel like that. I don't want to be like, oh, my phone is in danger. So, and be mindful, at this sort of price, Samsung, OnePlus, and Apple, all of them are starting to give waterproofness. So, the poor rating, that's just a mechanical engineering thing. I would have understood it for Mark 1 product, where it's like, dude, we do not have the tolerance. Mark 2, that could have been done. So, That does bother me, because again, you increase the cost. The only thing that I can just shut up, take money is that better display and better SoC. That does not seem too much of like effort. But water resistance is one of those things that are like, dude, you should have done that. And the cost is no longer easily palatable. Be mindful. They are going in that direction, but that still means you have to give something. You have to be like, it's not as cost effective to be like, whoa, that's too much for that. Because of the camera part. Be mindful. If the camera was as good as Pixel, people would have like, shut up, take money. But because of just the camera, and for many other people, it's like, are you telling me it's not waterproof in 2023 for this sort of price? They're like, shut up, go away. So this is a very critical thing. For this sort of price, people do expect a bit more camera love, I do expect water resistance, but not having that makes it less palatable, the cost. And I genuinely, from bottom of my heart, I hate every brand that gives RAM as an option. Like, I'm not talking about laptops, I'm talking about mobile phone. You're not gonna open it up and add more to it. So this idea of giving an inferior SKU, so to say, it's basically you're screwing over the customer, because Samsung is the worst in this. They could have like one SoC with 3 RAM variants. They could have 4GB, 6GB, 8GB, and their marketing would be like starting at the useless one, 4GB. They're gonna give the reviewers samples of 8GB. The reviewer's gonna do honest job, where it's like, okay, I'm gonna review, this is how it works. It will be like, whoa. People are gonna go to shops and they're like, what's the price of this? So the seller would be like, hey, the cheap starts at this price. You will buy it. And even if you are curious about RAM, you may be like, hey, what's the cost of that higher RAM variant? It will be so high, you'll be like, dude, no, just give me the 4GB one. But the moment you use it, you'll be like, that person had amazing experience. Why I have a garbage experience? That's why RAM should not be an option, especially in mobile phone. And be mindful. What does this mean? This simply means if, let's say, Call of Duty, PUBG, these sort of companies collect mobile phones and they refine their game for it, they have to buy the lowest one, 8GB, meaning you fundamentally limited it. And I have to say, they do understand it. RAM is important. Be mindful. This phone can easily last for 2 to 3 years, unless if, like, fundamentally badly designed, it should last 2 to 3 years without any issue. What does that mean? That simply means 8GB that may be enough today will not be tomorrow. So this bottlenecking is bad. And they know this because they have 3 SKUs, 128GB, 256GB and 512. In 512, you have 12GB. In 256, you still have 12GB. So they know that you need 12GB for long-term usability, but giving 8GB, 128GB, which mind you, you cannot increase with micro SD card, it's really a bad thing. This is more of like get people in the door and then give them a crappy experience. It's like, this is one thing, like if you ever wondered why the heck Samsung is unable to bitch slap Apple, primary reason is that somehow there is a product manager that have a itch on its ass where it's like, what if we make 10,000 models? It's like, sir, it will cost too much. What if we give 3 RAM variants in all of them? I'm not joking, there was one phone which had 4 RAM variants. Not joking. So that fundamentally creates a uglier experience. And the only thing that is precious to all this phone company is customer satisfaction and customer loyalty. If customer is not satisfied, do not even think about loyalty. So this sort of poor SKU design, and if you're going rich, just go rich. Be like, okay, hey bro, we know for a fact that 8GB may be enough today. It won't be 4 years of updates later. How about 12? How about you just like, bite the bullet and just like, hey, we're not gonna give you this useless SKU. Be mindful, this will piss off people who will buy this and they're like, for 1 year or 2 years it will be okay, but after that it will be like, so what does that mean? That simply means the next time they will upgrade, they will jump to someone else. So that part really bothers me personally. I really hate that Samsung product manager. Whoever is responsible in the Samsung pipeline is like, how about we make 50,000 models a year? It's like, so what we can expect in the future? Well, road ahead is going to be tough for this company. It's going to be tough. And be mindful, same thing has happened with OnePlus. At one time, it was like the darling of everybody, selling like hotcakes. Now they are like cool down. And be mindful, these sort of companies are what we call stock market companies. So they have to show not only sales, they have to show growth year over year. Meaning, oh, in 2019 I sold this much. In 2020 you have to sell more, and that's very difficult to do, especially if you are price competing. So road ahead is going to be tough, especially for long-term survivability. Short-term, I think they are sorted. But for long-term, it's genuinely difficult to do. So what does each big player brings to the table? Google, even though their footprint is small, they do bring their soft capabilities. Meaning, after you have taken the digital data, how much love you can put to it, Google is like, shut up, take my money. Because Google is good, like flat out good. What does Samsung brings? Samsung brings engineering. How much engineering? Half of Apple things are made up from Samsung. Not even joking, from memory chips to display. So that's why I said, like, if Samsung can fire that product manager, if they're like, who came up with this brain damage ideas, like, let's make 58,000 models. If they're like, what if we had 10 models a year? That's it. 10 models for different price brackets. 10. Done. They will be so smooth, so good. They'll be like, dude, buy Samsung. Done. But like, somebody has given them the brain damage which they cannot undo. So Samsung still has that horsepower. Then what about Motorola, Sony, Asus? They are fighting in this zone where they have always classified as other. So be mindful, the market is brutal. And be mindful, market is also reaching a cool down phase. From 2022 to 2023, you can see all of them are going down. Why is they are going down? Of course, people will say recession and this and all that. Of course, those also play to it. But you also have to understand, phones are actually lasting now. Meaning, if you have a phone, like, this is the first time I'm not genuinely curious about replacing my phone, even though it has cleared that 2-year cycle. Before this, I was updating every 2 years. Now, I don't actually feel, even though the phone is not the amazing one, but it's like the newer one won't be like, whoa. And I don't even have like the latest and greatest. So, and everybody, imagine if you actually had good flagship phone, and if you can replace the battery, you're sorted. You're genuinely sorted for surprisingly long amount of time. So, people are not upgrading as much as they used to. So sales of all the brands are cooling off. So in this sort of market you are coming in, and from a brand point of view, that the only two things that bothers me is like water tightness could have been done, and skew that gives bad taste in people's mouth. You do not want to give bad taste in people's mouth. That's just like, no, that's Samsung. That's Samsung thing. And be mindful, Samsung, even when they are doing this, they have the benefit of scale. Meaning, I live in a small town, which is like middle of nowhere, not a capital city, nothing. It's middle of nowhere. And it still has Samsung service center. I go to other places that is even more remote than my location. It still has Samsung service center. Meaning, as phone lasts us a lot longer, people try to get their screen replaced, people try to get their battery replaced. Samsung can take care of that part. And as EU law come into effect by 2027, where all batteries have to be designed in such a way that it can be replaced either by user or a service center, Samsung can actually absorb that. Whereas like, I have an ecosystem. It's not cost effective, but it's there. This brand, again, they have to sell lots to compete against that. And be mindful, even Apple does not have that sort of ecosystem in India, where they're like, you can be middle of nowhere and you can just buy it. So they really need to bring something powerful to the table. So at least waterproofing was like a very weird, off thing. Poor skew, I understand it. They think that it's gonna give them a good return on investment, but consequently it brings bad taste to people's mouth. And if you do not have customer satisfaction, long duration one, it's not worth it. So let's see what happens to them in the future. So this was my presentation on Nothing Phone 2. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.